Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Beware Beekeeping. So, if you just watched our last video, we expanded the our test hive, our white hive here, and we're going to do the same thing here. But we figured it'd be a good opportunity to kind of compare the two. So, we might cut this up between the last video. We'll show some frames and stuff. This hive off the bat seemed like it had more population, and we call this our control hive because it's all just commercial grade foundation. Again, that's the big thing with the other hive, is we're doing a 3D printed foundation in that one. So go check that out if that's something that interests you. Again, the uses of 3D printing and good applications here. So this one seemed like it had more population off the get. So we were actually a little worried about that test hive just even getting going. But we can kind of do a compare and contrast. Again, we're going to add another box to this one as well. We'll probably go a little bit quicker, but we'll point out some things along the way. But yeah, so let's get going. All right. So we have this top box is already on here. Again, if you didn't catch the last one, this is just our feed box. We're feeding. We got these nukes about 3 weeks ago. Last week on our last inspection, we had noticed they were pretty close to capacity here. When they get about 80% of the frames drawn with comb, you kind of want to start thinking about having them expanding the box so that they can move into that, as opposed to potentially what we call swarming, and which is, they just the current queen and half the hive go with her, and they raise a new queen in this one. So we're trying to prevent that. We haven't seen signs of it. If I see a swarm cell, I'll let you know. But
this is the hive we saw a queen cup in the other day.
Oh, it is. You're right.
So
actually, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I am going to I made a mistake again as a fairly new, well, really new beekeeper. I won't say fairly. I saw them building some of this comb on top, and I was like, I kind of trimmed it off and tossed it in the bottom. And when we did our last inspection, they were starting to draw that out. So bees will try to make some room for things. So I'm actually probably going to move most of these frames into this other box, clean out that, and then kind of swap as we go here. So again, we're learning, making mistakes. If that's the extent of my mistakes here, I would be hugely surprised. I think that's just the extent of the mistakes I'm going to make today, or not. If I can get this frame out. These ones are the unfortunate side effect. I got this nuke, and so this is going to be an empty frame. Again, they're working at drawing this stuff out. They've done a little bit. I don't know if you guys can really see that in the light. Try to get they've done a little bit of stuff there, but not too much. We're just going to set this off to the side. This is mostly just to get us some room to work here. Actually, I'll go ahead. I'll leave that out. I'll just move these other frames over. Yeah, so I'm just going to go kind of quick. I'll do a cursory look for our queen.
I'm going to rotate so that we can keep the same exact.
See?
The other way.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, see what I mean? One
Yep.
is right.
Yep. Yeah, so.
Sorry, I just shook the camera.
That's all right. Yeah, so I'll just kind of pull these up real quick, and we'll just do a little bit. So you see, you can see this bright yellow. Whatever they're pulling in is pretty yellow, and then dark brown. I think the dark brown's more from the feet. Oh, there's the queen right there. She's right here. So she's looking for a spot to lay now that they've kind of drawn out this comb. So that's good. Again, this was, as Mel said, this was the one with the queen cell on. This was the one we went back after our first video and looked, and she was hanging out on the side of a frame. So I'm just going to go ahead and put her in there. Can I get that smoker?
Nope, yep.
So I'm glad that I found her so early. So that was really good. We're gonna leave that kind of like that. Again, we're kind of shift all these frames around. But now I'm presented with a little bit of a predicament. When you expand a box, you kind of want to have uncapped brood. You want all the workers that are feeding them to. Well, they just got really agitated. Oh, maybe it's that smoker kind of blowing on them. Sorry, bees. You can hear them. You can hear. They have their own language. You can hear when they get a little upset. Oop! I just killed a bee. So anyway, what I was saying about the predicament is the queen was actually rather far out on the edge of the hive, and there's not a lot of uncapped brood. She looks like she's looking for a spot. Now I could pick her up and put her on a frame, and I might do that, but she's already on that frame and maybe looking for it. So maybe there's eggs I can't quite see. One of the challenges with beekeepers is the I'm gonna grab this. One of the challenges with beekeepers is I have a mesh in front of my eyes, so the eggs are about the size of a little bit smaller than a grain of rice, and rather difficult to see when you have a mesh on in front of your face. So she might have already laid there. It's good to see that she is there. So I might just pull that one up. Again, I'm just doing a cursory look of, I'm looking at a few things. Brood, the brood pattern. So how thickly consistent the queen's laying. So if we're seeing all of these cells, if we're seeing all of this as thick as it is, that's a good sign of a healthy queen. If she's like got some here, some here, some here, she might have a problem. And what we're seeing for these right here, this is probably brood that just hatched. So again, really solid pattern. And now the bees, since those ones hatched and there's no eggs in them, they're packing it full of nectar and pollen. So some good stuff there. This is a really good looking frame. Yeah, a lot of pollen. This is actually a really good time to point out. So bees do lay in a pattern. They'll put honey in the corners, so like these top corners, then they'll usually pack with pollen or bee bread, which is kind of a pollen nectar mix, and then they'll have brood, which kind of makes sense logistically, right? Like that they're like, oh, hey, I need food, so I'm gonna have, it's better to have a grocery store 2 minutes away from the house than one that's 10 minutes away from the house if you need to feed kids. So that's kind of what we're going. Sorry about the, we got looks like we got a chalk of Blackhawks going over here. We're outside of
Fort Hood,
Fort Cav, Fort Cavazos, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you got three Blackhawks in
another one coming.
In a line. Hear another chopper hovering?
Yep.
Yeah, hovering overhead. Oh yeah, I guess we can't see the rest of that on YouTube. They might get mad at us for the Army cadences. There you go. Oh, now that's gonna be stuck in my head. Thank you, hon. Alrighty. Yeah, so again, we're just gonna kind of do a quick just evaluation here. And actually, I should probably be moving these frames, but oh no, because that's gonna be
This is gonna be your top.
Yeah. So actually, I could probably just pull this whole thing off right now, since I've seen some pretty good brood pattern. The queen's obviously here, so I might just go ahead and leave this be. I'm just gonna rip this box off and pull this wonky comb out the bottom here. All right.
Say a prayer for his back, everyone.
Oh, thank you. I need it. All right, so yeah, this is that wonky comb we were talking about. And you can see how they've just kind of attached it to the bottom here. So I'm just gonna remove that, and we'll just throw it in a bag, and we'll melt it down and put it on foundation for the bees. So we're
Just put it on the floor here by my foot.
Yeah, I'm just they're gonna be a little upset now because again we just ripped not just the roof off their house, we ripped the walls off too. So if you got that smoker, I could use some of that. So yeah, this was my mistake. So I apologize, bees. I'm not seeing anything that's charged yet, so that's good. So we're not killing brood. So I think they were just trying to build it out for something to use. But yeah, again, little mistake, but I'm glad that no real harm came of it. It was more, I didn't want them to build a bunch of brood potentially down in the bottom there. I don't know if they would or not. I just didn't want to potentially have the queen bee down here when I'm trying to find her or something, like just try to limit that ability.
All right, let's put them back.
Yeah, we'll put them back on here. And then a little tip right there for you if you can is start on a side or a corner and of a box if you're trying to really prevent killing bees. And you can kind of, if you have like a box here, you put the edge down on the outside and then kind of scrape. That way you won't smash as many bees. Obviously, when you're moving boxes around like this, you're probably going to kill a bee or two. There are thousands of them, tens of thousands of them, so it is really difficult to not do, but we do try to reduce it as much as possible. That's why you'll see me sometimes when I'm moving these frames, I'll pause a little bit because I see a bee in the little, in the crush zone. And I mean, again, most times can kind of wait them out. But all right. So yeah, so we got the queen in this top box. That's where we want her. We're going to move that to the center, and we're just going to backfill all of these frames, and we're going to put these frames here. Again, we always want to make sure we have a full box of frames, whether you're doing 6, 8, 10, whatever. You just want to make sure you always have the boxes filled up. Again, not a bad thing if you don't. They just the bees will just fill it with comb, and then you'll have to either clean it out, or you'll have a problem with frames in there. So that's just why we do that. And then when you got a box all nice and filled, you just kind of get your hive tool and push the frames together. And the reason you do this is, again, if there's any space between those frames, they'll fill it with wax. As we see, it's like some of these that were from a nuke, they did have a good amount of wax between them because they had a little bit of space. So that is something. You just kind of take your hive tool in there and kind of scrape it down. Since these have like kind of a Y shape to them, you only need to scrape the first couple inches in there. Yep. All right, so yeah, we got that. Yeah, Mel is over here loading this up. So yeah, put those in the center. Yeah, we'll just slide that like that. There you go. Yeah, so you got your 5 here.
Making sure the queen isn't on the edge here.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go ahead and actually move this up.
How many got there?
7.
3 more?
Yeah.
I went to college. I know some math.
We can count. What I'm actually going to do is just do a quick validation again, just since we had that on the ground. Queen should still be on there. Just want to double check. I will admit I'm paranoid about that. I just want to make sure I didn't. Oh, there she is. Yeah, she's at the bottom lower right. So that's kind of why I'm glad I checked, because she there. I saw some bees on the ground out there, so I just wanted to make sure she actually stayed in the hive. I would imagine they would figure it out, but you never know.
Or we could step on her.
Yeah, you know, you just got to rule out all the craziness here. I'm just gonna do that. Actually, go ahead and drop that one like right in there. Yeah.
And one more.
2 more, I think. Maybe. I wasn't counting, so 4. Yeah, we'll try.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, these have a little more room now that these ones aren't all wax and propolized. So, I see. Yeah, sorry. So a lot easier to find when there's only like 100 bees on that frame. So yeah, she's still looking for a spot. Again, just want to make sure I'm not gonna accidentally injure her.
Towards the middle.
Yeah, I'll just getting everything tight. Was that a bird right there?
Maybe.
I thought I heard something just launch off this fence. Trying to find a free snack or something. You don't want that smoke.
Stepped on someone.
Oh, that's all right.
This is why we don't want our queen on the ground.
All right. Well, yeah. So we're pretty much done here. We're gonna put our little screen back on and continue feeding. This one, as you saw, they kind of went through stuff a little bit quicker. I think there's more mouths to feed here. So the other one still had a little bit in both jars. This one has a little bit in one jar.
Okay, sweetness.
And so yeah, we're just gonna kind of put that back on and let them go from here. So let's get that going.
This baby right here.
Oh, it's all right. They'll find their way home.
I'm not sure if she can fly yet.
Oh, well.
Come on, baby.
So yeah, bees, as Mel just said. So talk a little bit about the life cycle of a bee. You have about 21 days. A typical worker bee is about 21 days in the from when they lay to when they hatch as a fully grown bee. So they'll come out fully grown. Oh, I need mine. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Need that medium box. So they'll come out fully grown, but they can't do everything. So they can, they'll first start out by, taking care, I guess that's not really necessary, but we'll just do that. They'll first start out by, cleaning out their own little cell and then feeding other young. Then they can go into making wax, and then they'll from there go into being a forager, going out and getting pollen and that sort of thing. So when Mel says, oh, this one can't fly, they actually can't fly for the first several days, if not a week or so. A regular in the summertime, a bee will live about 45 days. So yeah, first week or so, they can't really fly. Oh, that's fine. You're good. This one's got a hole in the top, so they can go in and out if they want. Yeah, so as Mel was saying, that one might have just been a flightless one. And, probably in a day or two, they might have figured it out, but that's all right. We'll help them out. But anyway, again, thanks for watching. This is Ethan with Beware Beekeeping, and we just added our, first extra deep onto our control hive. So thanks again for watching.